Right, Forbes 30 under 30. Is it a badge of honor or is it a federal indictment pipeline? Now, if you're not in the tech space, it's not make sense or whatever, but I'm sure you must have heard of Forbes 30 under 30. You see those magazines, you see the top, these entrepreneurs, founders. Mostly they come from the tech sector and the finance side of things, but you'll see some occasionally some other medicine or some other folks and all. So, but definitely you might have heard some hot news, right? And but it's not these founders who are getting indicted by the FBI and all that stuff. But we need to talk about the elephant in the room. All right. At some point, this Forbes 30 under 30 stop being this flex, right? This and start to sound more like I don't know, like this like bad voodoo juju, slash judicial prosecutorial watch list, right? So look, I'm not trying to be dramatic or anything like that, but let me just run it back, right? So I got some names, some highlights of some of the folks who were in the 30 under 30, and they got arrested by the United States government, particularly. So the first one, my favorite, classic, Sam Bankman-Fried, Forbes 30 under 30, class of 2021 finance, built FTX. If you're in crypto, you know. FTX built FTX into a $32 billion empire, graced magazine covers, courted senators, and also Gary Gensler, Now serving 25 years in federal prison for one of the largest financial frauds in American history. Second, this chica right here, right? Carolyn Ellison, interesting last name. Also a Forbes dollar. A CEO Alameda Research at 28. Turned government witness to to get Sam Bankman-Fried in jail, right? Pleaded guilty to fraud and conspiracy. Sentenced to 2 years. A corporation helped bring down the whole house of cards. Then you got Charlie Jarvis, Forbes under 30, class of 2019. Education. Okay. Founded Frank, a financial aid platform, sold it to JP Morgan Chase for $175 million. All right. One small problem. She allegedly fabricated millions of customer accounts to close the deal. Convicted of fraud. Last one. Okay. This one I'll laugh for you guys. Martin Shkreli. I can't pronounce his last name, Shkreli or whatever, but he's quite famous. He came on TV quite a bit. Forbes 30 under 30, healthcare. The Pharma Bros. Securities fraud conviction. The guy literally live streamed his way into a prison sentence. And now, we're watching the same script play out time and time again in real time with the founders from Delve, DELVE, and Caldor. This Turkish chick. I mean, she has also other charges like faking her, visa fraud and all this other stuff. So, and now, I see. At what point do we stop calling this a coincidence and start calling it a pattern? Here's what nobody wants to say aloud. All right, so the Forbes 30 under 30 selection process doesn't validate your business model. It validates your story, your narrative, your ability to look the part. Unfortunately, I don't look the part, so I'm just a random guy on YouTube, Instagram, and your favorite conspiracy scientist. So anyways, your ability to look the part and say the right things, right? To the right people at the right time. If you're into raising funding, you will know this story quite well. Now, here's exactly the same skill, and here are some skills I think you should be aware of. Now, the same skills that make someone a phenomenal fraudster. Think about it. Charismatic founder with a compelling origin story. Speaks fluent about discipline and about disruption and impact. Kind of hit close to home. Raises capital at absurd valuations on vibes alone. Gets press and gets lists, gets credibility by association, and uses that credibility to raise more capital. It's kind of like this vicious circle, right? Rinse, repeat until the music stops. Forbes isn't doing due diligence. They're just doing content marketing, and the 30 under 30 badge has become the most dangerous form of social proof in venture capital. I think because investors see it and skip the homework. That's what I feel. I know some investors, some VC guys would say they don't, but many of them, I met some of these guys, they don't do the proper homework. But anyway, so here's some questions actually, if you're an investor, if you are, or if you plan to be an investor, if you're going to write checks, here's some questions I want you guys to uncomfortably question to sit with. All right. So, are you investing in the business or the brand? Because we've seen Sam Bankman-Fried. He wore cargo shorts, slept on a beanbag. It wasn't humility; it was just a costume. The I don't care about money. That aesthetic he was, you shared was a Nas Daily dumbass guy, whatever. Was the most expensive marketing campaign in crypto history. The second one is, can the founder explain the unit economics without buzzwords? Now, if every answer is we're building a future and nobody can show you the profit and loss that makes sense, run. I mean, vision without map is just TED talk, not business. The third question, I want to talk to some of these investors, right? Who's on the cap table, and did they do the due diligence? Social proof cascades. One big time investor signs on, others follow without looking. I know some because they do the shit. And that's how Sequoia ended up with writing off the entire FTX investment. Sequoia Capital, one of the OGs of investing, venture capital, right? So if your thesis is the big fund is in, you don't have a thesis. Me and then do. But the fourth question is, I'll see. Is there an independent verification of customers, revenue, and traction? Charlie Jarvis literally made up 4 million fake accounts, fake customers. JP Morgan, one of the most sophisticated financial institutions on the planet right now, didn't cash it until they paid $175 million. JP Morgan can get fooled, so can you and me. Just saying. And the last one, right? I'm not going to go too far, but how did this person handle the hard questions? If you know very well, see fraudsters, they deflect. But the real operators, they love to engage. If a founder gets defensive, evasive, and some of them can be quite condescending. I've met some. When you push back, that's not confidence. That's just good old concealment, man. So here's the uncomfortable truth, guys. We have built a startup culture. We have built a startup culture that rewards performance over substance. We celebrate speed over integrity. We hand 26-year-olds, dumbasses, I would say, institutional credibility because they know how to pitch, and then act shocked when the whole thing was smoke and mirrors. Forbes 30 under 30 isn't the cause. I think it's the symptom. The cause is an ecosystem that conflates visibility with validity, press with proof, and fundraising with building. Sorry, not with building. So let me throw it to you all here, all right? I've written down. So I know it's just too much for me to process, but I want to be as clear as possible. Is Forbes 30 under 30 still a badge of honor, or has it become the canary in the coal mine? If you're an investor, how do you separate founders with real conviction from those who are just performing entrepreneurship? Or I like to say fraud masquerading entrepreneurship. Now, and if you've been on the list, if you have been on the list, I'd generally love to hear your perspective. Do you feel the perception has shifted? I'm giving the floor to you guys. I want to hear your